and we will begin the second day of the 11th International Conference, Safer Cities and Neighborhoods, Strategic Data Management for Crime Analysis, with the words of Executive Director of Paz Ciudadana, Director Daniel Johnson Rodriguez. Welcome, Daniel. You're recognized. Thank you, Nicolas, and good morning, everyone. We, in fact, are beginning the second day of crime analysis for safer cities and neighborhoods. After yesterday that we were able to review how prevention can be enhanced through the data analysis and truthful information that could make the public policies be more effective. We knew study experiences that could determine which were risk and protective factors for crime, and we were able to see which programs could address these risk and protective factors, and we were able to see that those programs can be very effective if they're based on evidence, and how they can be detrimental if the evidence is not considered. Today, we will introduce something somewhat different, although we continue with the thread of the analysis of information in order to make safer cities. Today, we will have a more territorial outlook so as to understand how the data analysis, how the use of information can allow us to make better decisions in public policies, but for the neighborhoods to be safer territories with a crime prevention approach. Of course, security is a key factor, but we'll see most of the time it is not considered, and we'll see which are the difficulties that makes that security is not considered in the public dimension that have an impact in the city as a whole. I remember an example. I worked in Serbia a few years ago, and I remember families, especially women, that were participating in a housing committee that needed to decide together how we were going to build the housing in that territory. And it happens that they requested to be houses that have a yard and not flats or apartments. This was something that they didn't like much. And trying to explain that a flat could increase density, and therefore, if it's done with a reasonable standard, it was going to allow it to be closer to services integrated with the subway. Anyway, in spite of the good explanations from our side, there was still a desire to have houses instead of flats and apartments. So underneath that was security. In houses, they perceived as safer places, not as we would think so, because a house could be more vulnerable and exposed to be victim of a crime, but they felt it was safer for their children to have an outdoor space where they can play and they're not forced to go to a square that was perceived, although it might be consolidated with square with green spaces. The square was considered as a insecure place. So that was the main rationale, to have their own yard where the children could develop and play outdoors in a safer and healthier manner. With this example, I wanted to shed light and introduce on the conversation that we'll have today. So we will focus on how public investment has to consider within the relevant factors to decide how to intervene in security. And to understand and know security, we have to receive information from the family and the people that will be users of that infrastructure. So I would like to invite you to a new day that we have prepared with a lot of enthusiasm for all of you, that we have keynote speakers that are very, very bright, that hopefully they will be able to go deeper on this subject in a relevant manner. We thank all who are connected again. Yesterday, we had more than 600 people connected, so we're very happy of your participation and the enthusiasm that they ask all different questions. So I would like to welcome you to ask questions so that through these tools we can make as an interactive conference as possible to solve all questions and to build knowledge together and to help that Chile has better public policies in terms of security and justice. And through that tool, we can have a safer, a just, a fair country that families can develop. So thank you for being here, and I would like to invite you to live with enthusiasm with the second day of this conference of crime analysis of Paz Ciudadana Foundation.